Yeah, thank you very much. Is this working? Yeah, okay, great. So thank you very much for inviting me to this symposium and for some very interesting presentations already. I'm going to take a step back to look at the SDGs overall. So hopefully this will be useful for the next presentations. Just as a brief introduction, so I'm kind of an outlier in the symposium in that I'm not from academia, I'm from the OECD, and we work on policy, but we're trying to kind of in between research and policy, trying to make research relevant to policymakers. And what I'm going to present today is our study on measuring the distance from SDG targets. So the Sustainable Development Goals, and again, I hope not to repeat things that have been presented before, and I see there's a lot of different ways about talking about the SDGs, but the SDGs are an encompassing agenda that really include a lot of different subjects. So there's 17 goals, as everyone knows, and 169 targets. And while the goals are high-level objectives like end poverty everywhere, ensure healthy lives, the targets themselves are more of a mixed bag, and they relate both to outcomes, so what do we want to achieve, also to policy tools, how we want to achieve them, and means of implementation, making it a very complicated kind of agenda to understand and to then implement. There's many different ways of looking at the SDGs and of classifying them, but kind of an overall classification can look at it as including, of course, it includes three elements of sustainable development: economy, society, and the environment. Or you could also look at it as including development, which is the continuation of the Millennium Development Goals, or expansion of. There's environment, which several goals relate to, and there's rights and governance, so kind of going back to the UN's mandate and core business. And then we have policies and finance, so in the goal on partnerships, and also throughout all of the goals themselves. So it makes for a very challenging agenda for governments to cope with and to implement and understand how to do that. And at the OECD, we've done some work on helping governments understand what they're doing or how they're doing on sustainable development goals. So the OECD supports the SDGs through many different ways, one of which is through the data. I come from the OECD Statistics and Data Directorate, so that's my focus here. We support the data in several ways, so through providing data that we collect, such as the official development assistance, the ODA figures, or education-related figures, such as the PISA the PISA survey. We also contribute to the Interagency Expert Group on SDG Indicators, which is the group that's put together the official list of indicators for monitoring SDGs. So we're observers on that, and we assist in methodological developments on several of the different issues. We help in capacity building and development in developing countries through Paris 21, which is housed at the OECD. And we use visualization and data dissemination tools, one of which is the study that I'll present shortly. So our study started out in response to demand by OECD countries who asked us, because the OECD has this work on data and developing data and collating data, to help them understand how they're doing, to help our member countries understand how they're doing on SDGs, and also to help them identify their priorities for action. We first presented this study in the High-Level Policy Forum in New York in July 2016. We've since then published an update in June 2017, which is available online. And we're now working on a next update, which will be published in the first half of 2019. The study, have I skipped a, okay.